He proved himself once again here today in a sensational record time in defeating Wild Bill Snyder. Hangman Bobby Jaggers has joined me, and I would imagine that you would have several things that you need to get straight.
I have a lot of things to think about Gordon Solie, and a lot of things to tell the people of Florida about. One of them is, there's an old boy running around here that thinks he's pretty tough. He thinks the part of the world that he comes from is pretty tough. Well, I got news for you, Mr. Apollo. Because you walk around here in your Spanish-made suits, because you walk around here in your new hairdo, there was compliments of my clan. I've got something I want to take to you, boy, and that's called a good old fight. That ain't no Cuban street fight. That's called a good wrestling fight or a cowboy fight. And there's a few other people around here, Gordon Solie. I am the Southern Heavyweight Champion. I'm demanding a little bit of respect. Because as you know, Gordon Solie, at one time or another, I have held every belt in the state of Florida. And I guarantee you, I'll hold them all again, Gordon Solie.
Well, some interesting comments from Hangman Bobby Jaggers. He certainly is not short on words. However, once he steps into that ring, he proves he's not short on skills or talents either. That's all the time we have this week on Wrestling Superstars. Hope you'll join us again next week at the same time. Till then, Gordon Solie saying so long. See, Terry Gordy has joined me. Now, Jack Briscoe after him. Jerry Briscoe had the figure 4 on Dory Funk. And Dory Funk Jr. A metal buckle off that belt. Well, they've got a pin, but I don't know how you could possibly count that. He caught him with a belt buckle, and Dory Funk Jr. Wait a second. Terry Funk out in the ring now, but it's Dory Funk Jr. moving back into the ring. He feels that they have won the North American Tag Team Championship. Jack Briscoe breaking loose now with that belt. Catches Dory Funk Jr., catches him again. And it is Dory Funk Jr. on the canvas now. Jack Briscoe beating him unmercifully, and it is Jack Briscoe clearing the ring. Well, they have cleared the ring, and I don't know what's happened. I don't know who has what or what. All I know is that they have cleared the ring, and this situation is long from being resolved. We'll be back. He is some kind of tough. Seibert caught with a single leg pickup, and notice the way Cox was in. Now we can talk about Cox and the fact that he is a former Marine, a DI. He's a double tough individual, but never lose sight of the fact that he has a tremendous knowledge of the basics in wrestling, and he will have you completely fainted out by his actions or attitude in the ring, and suddenly you'll find yourself caught in a very complex situation with him. And that's the way he's worrying the leg now, keeping the pressure on the leg of Steve Seibert. Seibert now trying to utilize that to his own advantage if he can. But he's going to have a few problems now because you're interfering with the circulation on that leg. You're also now, Cox floats up. Tried for a lateral press. Seibert powers out. Seibert now with a side headlock on Killer Carl Cox. Cox dropped in behind his man, blocked with a heel, took him down. Into the ropes, the referee calls for the break. Iron Man Reggie Parks, the referee. Cox bulled back into the ropes now by Seibert. Seibert, a forearm on the break. Cox trying to cover up. Seibert now keeps the side headlock. Seibert now, two rather ineffectual punches to the side of the rib cage on Cox. And Cox is not a taker per se, because he is totally aggressive, but there are times when he will take two or three punches or moves just to get you inside and uptight, and then suddenly you find your shoulders to the mat for the count of three. It goes up to that Cox brain buster, and he drove him to the mat. Count of three. Count of three. And Killer Carl Cox returns to Florida in a triumphant manner.
And from Singapore, weighing in at 270 pounds, the Spoiler.
All right, here's the combination that I was talking about earlier. Iron Mike and the Spoiler. And again, here is a classic example of J.J. Dillon putting together any kind of Aha! Embry ducked away from that one. Eric Embry ducking away. Embry ducks through again, so Iron Mike, trying to move on this man, is finding himself with a whole host of problems. J.J. Dillon watching from here at the desk at his vantage point to see exactly. Embry having his problems there as he hit a redwood tree that time in Iron Mike. Embry off that time exploded with a beautiful flying drop kick. Iron Mike up and over his man, but Embry rolls away. So Embry and his partner obviously have decided the tactic to use with the Spoiler and Iron Mike is speed, agility, and keeping to one side, and now the Spoiler loses his cool and charges the ring.
Gordon Solie, every time that I handpick men and put them under contract, it's always not by chance but by design, and I like to take individuals, take their strong points. Iron Mike, you can just see the raw, awesome power that this man possesses. You take a look at the Spoiler, his uncanny sense of balance, his uniqueness of being able to straddle and walk along the top rope, his balance that delicate for a man his size. Each of these men has a strong point, no real outstanding weaknesses, and the unique part of it is that I could take them and interchange them in any type of combination that I feel is going to best suit the situation. And I like to weigh the opponents, and if I feel that it needs raw power, I'll put an Iron Mike and a partner suitable in there. If it's somebody that has a lot of speed, such as an Eric Embry, then I put somebody like the Spoiler in there with his uncanny balance. And again, this is just one of the few reasons that I've been so tremendously successful over the years.
Well, obviously, may I just say that J.J. Dillon continues to enlarge his stable, if you will. I understand, too, that a man whose reputation far precedes him is internationally known, the Iron Sheik.
The Iron Sheik from Saudi Arabia will be here next week on Championship Wrestling, and I'm directly responsible for bringing him. Worldwide reputation, the Iron Sheik from Saudi Arabia.
The Spoiler now has Horner in trouble. And the Spoiler moving up on that top rope, down across the head of Tim Horner. And Horner in a lot of problems here. Young Eric Embry giving a very, very fine account of himself, but he's got a handful of problems. And a dynamite fast young team. But boy, what awesome power there. Look at this. Caught him. Shoulder breaker, Iron Mike. And it's all over. It is all over for Tim Horner. Iron Mike and the Spoiler, managed by J.J. Dillon, and now bringing another man in, the Iron Sheik. So J.J. Dillon at this point continues to roll unmolested.
Through the school of hard knocks. I didn't get it presented to me. I had to go out and fight to get it. Well, let me say, I did that, and I did it rather well. Right here is a proof of it. When I come around the Atlanta area, I know that there's a lot of top caliber wrestlers. A lot of people around the area feels that they can beat me. Well, let me tell you, in 19 years in professional wrestling, everybody figured they could beat me. Right there. That's what it's all about. That's what you spend all your time in wrestling trying to achieve. Well, I've achieved it. And let me say this, I'm not going to let somebody take it away from me just for the want of it. To beat me, you're going to have to beat me. To take the gold away from me, you're going to have to make me pay the penalty of being hurt. And a lot of people have tried that. A lot of people failed. When you come for me, you come for it all. Don't come thinking that I'm going to hand it to you. Come with winning in mind, or you're going to strike out.
That of Wild Bill Snyder. Something happens toward the end of the match that makes me believe that the Kiwis are going to answer to the Briscoe brothers before this situation is over and done with. Let's join this match in progress now. The Kiwis in an Australian tag team match. And Bill Snyder powers him off, catches him a high backdrop, and it is Boyd coming down on the back of his head. Crazy Luke charges in there. Mike Bond goes to break it up. And we've got all four of them in the ring. And, ooh! Bond right through those ropes. And so you've got Snyder and... all right, the tag is made, so it is Snyder driven back into that turnbuckle. Crazy Luke moves in, makes the tag, gets the hammerlock. And punishment meted out now by the Kiwis. They're very quickly tagging in. Luke steps out of the ring, tags up. And it is Jonathan Boyd now afloat over by Luke. And once again, the tag is made. And this is the pattern and the punishment. And Snyder now taking tremendous... The referee down there checking Snyder. See if he wants to... No, sir, you can see him shaking his head. Snyder still refusing to concede as they continue to punish. Wild Bill Snyder, they continue to tag in and out. And... all right, the tag is made, and again, they break the hold. They're breaking the hold just barely. And again, the tag is made. Luke moves back in, and Snyder has just taken fantastic punishment here. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Somebody has thrown in a towel here. Well, that looks like... that's Jack Briscoe. Jack Briscoe was in there throwing in the towel. And the Kiwis threw the towel back. Briscoe tried to go for the figure four. Briscoe caught now in that same hammerlock, and the Kiwis after Jack Briscoe. And Briscoe, who threw in the towel for Wild Bill Snyder, as Snyder was undergoing tremendous pain and pressure. And wait a second. Wait a second. Jerry Briscoe just charged the ring. Jerry Briscoe just charged the ring. And Briscoe had a chair with him. He broke that up in a hurry. Wild Bill Snyder on the canvas in a lot of pain. Jack Briscoe felt the agony of the Kiwis applying that hammerlock to him. And let me reiterate here, Briscoe came to the ring, threw in the towel. For what reason, I just don't know. I'd like to try and find out if I can, and I'm not sure I'll be able to. Jack Briscoe being aided up now by Jerry Briscoe. And maybe I can get them over here. Jack, Jerry. Let me try. Impose upon them at this particular point in time. But Jack Briscoe taking upon himself to throw in that towel for Wild Bill Snyder. Jack, a very inopportune time to try and talk to anybody. But obviously you didn't want that match to continue.
No, Gordon, I've worked out with this man many times, and he wouldn't quit. He wouldn't let him carry his arm out before he would quit. The man's got all kinds of desire and depth, and I knew he wouldn't give up. But I'll tell you what, Kiwi started working on my arm, and I'll tell you what, that's one thing that they will pay for, and they'll pay for it dearly.
Well, I might just add, Jack Briscoe certainly, obviously, by those comments, did not come out with any intention of becoming involved in the match. And as we saw just a moment ago, of course, Jack Briscoe came out there, threw in the towel to stop the match to avoid further injury to Wild Bill Snyder. And, of course, then it all took off from that point on with the Kiwis lashing out in vengeance against Jack Briscoe. Complaining about his belt not having it with him.
Real Gordon Soley, when you're a champion, you always want that belt around you. And I guarantee you, here's the champion. TV champion, ladies and gentlemen, of Florida.
That's it.
That's Eddie Mansfield, that continental lover, Daddy.
Well,
And you want to know why, Gordon Soley? Because this man is in the best physical shape of any light heavyweight in wrestling today. I got news for you, Daddy. He's going to be a champion a long time. Tell him, fast man.
You know something, Gordon Soley? I told you when I invaded the great state of Florida, I came down here for one reason and one reason only. It's for money. You know, I am Fast Eddie. They don't call me Fast Eddie for nothing. I live it long and I live it hard. And I got to have a lot of money to live the way I want to live. And let me tell you something, you bogus Indian. Your mama's a squaw selling novelty on the reservation. But it's supposed to be genuine turquoise and stuff. Jerry Briscoe. But ladies and gentlemen, I turned over that turquoise and you know what it said, Gordon Soley? It said made in Japan. Can you believe that? Is that not a bogus Indian? Oh, squaw mama Briscoe.
We know where Curio shop is. Roswell, that's it on Highway 35 going to Wichita, Kansas. It's on the right-hand side of the road.
Oh,
But Eddie, wait a minute, Eddie.
I think
Can you
we've
take a
had
look,
quite
Gordon
enough of
Soley? You got the lover, you got the fighter,
Well, I'll
and we're
tell you
both
what.
right.
We're going to see the way that this man has achieved the Florida Television Championship. You'll see exactly. Now, watch this. Tommy Gilbert, Snapmare's Hangman Bobby Jaggers into the ring. A mistake on Gilbert's part here. Jaggers on the outside of the ring. But now both men taking advantage here of Tommy Gilbert.
Wait a minute, Gordon Soley. You saw what happened right there, Daddy. He pulled me in the ring. I did not go in that ring.
Yeah, well, nonetheless, the ruling stands. Of course, the referee could not disqualify Mansfield or Jaggers because, in fact, Tommy Gilbert did bring Jaggers in. But as you can see here, it is the situation with Jaggers. Again, Jaggers caught by Tommy Gilbert. Gilbert had the situation well in hand. Mansfield tied into those ropes. However, Mansfield springs free, comes in, a sneak attack behind his man, into a rolling reverse, put the forward pressure on those shoulders, scored the takedown, and that's how Eddie Mansfield got the Florida TV title.
5 pounds, Coco Samoa.
Coco Samoa out against the Assassin. One fall, 10-minute time limit into those ring ropes. The referee calls for the break. Samoa reverses the situation. Steps back. Good clean break. Once again, collar and elbow. Quick takedown by the Assassin into a head scissors. The Assassin, who moves with remarkable speed. Absolutely remarkable speed for a man his size. right, Samoa in trouble now as the assassin continues to punish Samoa with that head scissors. That chin firmly hooked into the hollow of the knee. Samoa trying to turn into his man. May stand a chance of breaking it up now. Turning to him. Again, trying to struggle his way out. Does. Head stands out. Back on his feet. And notice how quickly the assassin was back up there with it. Samoa with the armbar now on the assassin, has the assassin on the defensive. The thing about the assassin is you never know what he's liable to do next. Great versatility. And the assassin caught that time by Samoa. Samoa up and over his man. Wow! The assassin off those ropes, caught him with a lying drop kick, on the assassin now brought down with an arm drag by Coco Samoa. Talk about some speed. The assassin let loose some heavy artillery on Coco Samoa. Samoa took the best he had to offer and is back in there for more. Remember now, we'll be seeing the world junior heavyweight champion Jerry Briscoe in action very, very shortly against Gerald Finley. Finley, certainly an up-and-coming youngster. A great opportunity for Finley to prove himself against the world junior heavyweight champion. The assassin, the lateral press, but Coco Samoa powered out. Assassin chops at the throat, and it's Coco Samoa. Stickle with everything that he has. Samoa catches him again. And Samoa came down, tried to catch him across the throat and chest. It was the assassin ducking to one side. Count of three. Count of three, and that's the thing about the assassin. When he connects, it's all over. And so, the winner of this match is the Masked Assassin. And his tag team partner, Cowboy Lang, going up against Hangman Bobby Jaggers and Little Tokyo. That's Jaggers that you see circling the ring at this time. And Jaggers, of course, the Southern Heavyweight Champion, has been having his hands full thus far in the match. Tommy Gilbert and Cowboy Lang acquitting themselves extremely well. There you see Cowboy Lang, and it is Lang once again talking to the referee, and now it is Little Tokyo to the left, Cowboy Lang to the right. And, John, these might be men diminutive in stature, but certainly long in courage and certainly long in ability.
What we're watching here, as far as I'm concerned, is we're watching four great athletes, regardless of the philosophy that Jaggers pervades and prevails with all the time. Tommy Gilbert, the man that pulls the upsets, as I said before, and two smaller great wrestlers. The fellow by the name of Little Tokyo and Cowboy Lang. Beautifully proportioned athletes. And just because of stature's difference here, their ability ranks just on an equal of just about any other wrestler that we watch in competition with anywhere at all.
No question about that, and it's Lang and Tokyo and Jaggers having their problems out here. And apparently we have possibility of a language barrier, at least certainly an understanding barrier here between Jaggers and Little Tokyo. And this could certainly spell no good for them. They've got to go out there as one cohesive unit. There's no question about that. Cowboy Lang striding out to the center of the ring, waiting for Little Tokyo. Tokyo starts to move out toward him. Lang bouncing now, watching him carefully. Referee watching both men very carefully, warning Jaggers, and now Tokyo back in there. And the tag is made, and Lang saying, wait a second, I'll handle Jaggers by myself. And it's Lang ducking away again as Jaggers becomes rather ponderous, and all of a sudden Tommy Gilbert was standing there ready and waiting for Mr. Jaggers. Jaggers concentrating on the mat, trying to chase down Cowboy Lang, almost caught the knuckles of Tommy Gilbert. And again, a communication problem between Jaggers and Little Tokyo.
Well, Jaggers looked like a man who's going to go through an open door there, and he ran into a closed open door. Closed wooden door right on him, and Mr. Gilbert stood right there in front of him, and that stopped him right in his tracks.
He did indeed, and Gilbert once again moves out, and now Tokyo and Jaggers both outside the ring. Tommy Gilbert, as Coach Heath has said, an upset maker. In fact, he's becoming known as the upset king. Outstanding athlete, has great tendon strength, is double tough. He'll pierce six at a wrestle, whatever suits you best. Jaggers, and now you see a hurried conference between Lang and Tommy Gilbert. And they're cooking up something that will bode no good for Mr. Jaggers and Little Tokyo, that's for sure. Jaggers now with that side headlock. And he's trapped the left arm. Now he slips underneath that arm, keeping the side headlock. And so Gilbert coming around the waist, cinching down, possibly forcing some air out of the lungs of Jaggers, but I don't believe enough to have any appreciable effect on Jaggers. It's Jaggers keeping that sidelock, maintaining that pressure. Jaggers, short chopping right hand, and it's Gilbert exploding back, and then Gilbert caught by Jaggers. And the tag is made. Cowboy Lang catches Little Tokyo coming in. Both of these men around 100 pounds apiece. And Little Tokyo brought way up by Cowboy Lang, has him high. Atomic knee drop, and it is Little Tokyo in a lot of trouble here. Because of their size, come off that second ring rope, and it is Tokyo hurdled all the way across the ring by Cowboy Lang, and as Jaggers started to come out there, it was Little Tokyo being ramrodded right into his stomach, and the referee starting to count. And a Pier Sixer, we've got it going now. Gilbert and Lang, the victors in this match, but a Pier Six between Jaggers and Gilbert, and these two are totally oblivious to the bell. Cowboy Lang getting in a shot right at the end, but it is all over. And Cowboy Lang and Tommy Gilbert scoring a victory here at the Armory before a capacity crowd in Tampa, Florida. Championship Wrestling 81 on the move.
Come on, don't fight. So there you have it. That's Jerry Lawler, and that's our Take 5 for this week.
Heavyweight champions, Les Thornton, the world junior heavyweight champion. Junior heavyweight champion Briscoe, the Florida junior heavyweight champion, title match. And both of these are, I think, very anxious to test the mettle of the other. Into the ropes, the referee calls for the break. Good, clean break. Both men back on their feet. Test for leverage and strength there, and it's Thornton. He moves so rapidly. Side leg pickup into an arm bar, bringing it down on the chest. Keeps the pressure. Thornton, of course, has that beautiful combination of American catch-a-sketch wrestling along with the European style of wrestling. Hip lock takedown, and Briscoe fires out, and it is Thornton back on his feet. Jerry Briscoe back to his feet. Good duck away by Briscoe. Thornton right back on top of him again, however. Front face locking. Briscoe overhooking the head now. Now comes back the other way. Notice the way he tried to utilize those legs, and both of them will use their legs extensively in a match, which is extremely important. Double underhook by Jerry Briscoe, trying to lock those hands together, and if he can, he could gain an advantage position here on Thornton. Does so to a lateral body press. Thornton, predicament, able to raise that shoulder. Alfonso, the referee, checking those shoulders very carefully. Briscoe in control here momentarily. Now Thornton trying to take that control away. An exceptionally important match for both of these men, because if Thornton can put Briscoe aside in this 10-minute time frame, then he can pretty well call his shots as to who he wants to defend the junior heavyweight championship against. That would eliminate Jerry Briscoe pretty much from contention. Jerry Briscoe, by the same token, if he can hold Les Thornton to a draw, or should he gain a pinfall, obviously would keep him in #1 contention. As the Florida junior heavyweight champion, he is the #1 contender. Bridge by Jerry Briscoe as Thornton keeps the head scissors. Briscoe escapes very nicely and ties up the legs of Les Thornton. Now Briscoe realizes the great agility of Thornton, so he'll try and take away those legs if he can. Cut down on the maneuverability. Now crotch ride on the legs, partial crotch ride, thigh ride actually. Briscoe using that elbow as a wedge now, trying to force Thornton's arm into becoming a lever against himself, which he has done. Brought that arm over. Used Thornton's own arm as a lever against Thornton. Good move by Briscoe, trying to move in and get a pinfall if he can. Into the ring ropes. And both men back on their feet. Good clean break. Thornton tried to duck under, go behind. Blocked by Briscoe. Now both men upper body wrestling, and Thornton with a takedown. Picked up that single leg. Briscoe back into his man. Notice the way he hooked that leg. Grapevining with his own leg and has Thornton back to the canvas. Both men very skilled in their profession. Hip-lock takedown by Thornton. You'll note, too, that neither man making any wild charges. Each man respects each other too much to allow a mistake. And, of course, the minute you start picking up the tempo or the minute you lose your head, that's when those mistakes can happen. And within the twinkling of that 1, 2, 3 count, it can be all over. Hip-lock takedown by Les Thornton. Keeps the side headlock. Jerry Briscoe rolls that shoulder off. Briscoe almost had him down there. Briscoe tried to come under the nose with the forearm. Gets across the side of the cheekbone. Thornton able to break that up just by applying more pressure with a side headlock. Briscoe now turning toward his stomach, trying to break free of that side headlock. Obviously, if he can exit from this hold and retaliate with a counter move, an aggressive hold, that would be his ultimate. But it is Thornton again with the hip-lock takedown. Thornton, Tony Charles, both of them experts with that Cornish hype, and but he has not yet been able to catch Jerry Briscoe to a point to ride him up that high, because you really get across the bottom of the rib cage in that particular takedown, and he has not been able to. Jerry's been defending against that extremely well. Thornton drives a knee to the midsection of Jerry Briscoe, has him doubled up. Could have Briscoe in trouble here. Thornton, a forearm to the side of the jaw. Another forearm under the jaw that time that rocks Jerry Briscoe. Briscoe could be in a lot of trouble now. Thornton, a fourth forearm. Very, very effective. A fifth, and Briscoe now dazed and catches another percussion to the head. Rear chinlock by Les Thornton, and Briscoe bridges up beautifully. Briscoe bridges up beautifully, trying to move that into a top wrist lock if he can. Locked by Briscoe. Now Thornton with a single leg pickup, back leg trip. To a side headlock, and Briscoe again rolls that shoulder off, back to his feet. Gets a side headlock on Thornton. Thornton was going for a souffle. Briscoe blocked it, and it was Thornton turning into an atomic knee drop, and now Thornton came down with a knee. Briscoe rolled to one side. Jerry Briscoe goes for the figure four, broken up by Les Thornton in a bit of desperation. Jerry Briscoe. Back roll into a guillotine by Jerry Briscoe. Scores a pinfall. Jerry Briscoe scores a pinfall on the world junior heavyweight champion Les Thornton. A tremendous and most impressive victory for Jerry Briscoe. Representative Coach John Heath were called to the National Wrestling Alliance headquarters for a meeting. This is in an effort to clear the air on the controversial charges and claims made by the assassin and his lawyers, in that the assassin should be declared the world champion. The board ruled in favor of the world champion Dusty Rhodes' request for a world title match to settle the situation between the assassin and himself and the world title. And that situation will be settled indeed at the Bayfront Center in St. Petersburg on the 29th, as ordered by the National Wrestling Alliance. After the meeting, the board appointed Coach John Heath to represent the NWA at the signing of this particular contract. And we're going to go now to the signing of that contract. The assassin, Dusty Rhodes, and Coach John Heath. Let's watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the executive offices of the National Wrestling Alliance today for the signing of a world title match to take place at the St. Petersburg Bayfront Center on August 29th. That's Saturday night, August the 29th. The most controversial issue ever to come up in front of the National Wrestling Alliance board has been between the matches, caused by the matches between the Assassin number 1 and the World Heavyweight Champion, Dusty Rhodes. Assassin number 1 has claimed that he has defeated Dusty Rhodes in the middle of the ring twice and is now claimant for the World Heavyweight title. Dusty Rhodes has finally agreed to meet the Assassin after requesting the National Wrestling Alliance for this match. I have the contracts with me, and we will have the signing today. And I will give the contract first to the challenger.
More than happy to sign this, Coach John.
Now, Mr. Rhodes, where it says World Champion. Thank you.
Wait just a minute, Coach. Let me tell you something, you know. I sit over here and listen to this man, listen to you talk about the National Wrestling Alliance. Assassin number 1 has went around this country, which I am World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion of, and he has said on numerous occasions that he has pinned me for the 7 count. He has pinned me on another count, wearing a belt around, claiming World Heavyweight title. On the 29th in the Bayfront Center, you're going to get your chance to be World Heavyweight Champion. Your last chance, my man. You understand what I'm saying? The only reason that I signed this thing because it is in good faith. Do you know what I mean? And I got a little something special for you. You don't know what you signed. You did sign a World Heavyweight title match. That's true. But the National Wrestling Alliance, you should always read what you sign, Assassin. And this thing is under Texas Deathmatch rules. First time ever in the Bayfront Center World Heavyweight title match, Texas Deathmatch rules. And this time, I tricked you, my man. I tricked you. I don't want to hear about it.
Let me see that. Let me see that. Where's stipulated? Let me see the contract. I want to see the contract. Now listen, I came down here and I signed this contract in good faith, Coach John. I signed this contract for a world title match. Said nothing about a Texas Deathmatch, Rhodes.
That's it. This time, the trick's on you, Assassin. This time,
I might have expected something like this from you. Give me the contract. There ain't no contract. Turn that camera off, I said.
Well, the assassin can do or say anything he wants, but that contract was signed. Everybody has witnessed it, and so that match, in fact, will take place. There's no question about that. The assassin, with all of his legal maneuvers, with his attorneys, with everything else, will be to no avail to him whatsoever. A Texas death match will settle the World Heavyweight Championship. And Dusty Rhodes had some further comments as World Heavyweight Champion that I certainly think bear listening to at this time.
Anytime. You know, I do got myself together just a little bit. Right here in my hands, a piece of paper. Paper has been torn up. But let me tell you something, Assassin. In And right now in the files, laying in the files, is the original copy of this. I'm going to take this one myself up. I'm going to bring it with me, just like you brought all them flyers. I'm going to bring it to every arena, every place I have to be, and I'm going to stick it down your throat with Scotch tape on it. That's not what I want to talk about. Since I was world heavyweight champion in the last 2 or 3 months, I have been jumped by 2 or 3 people every time I am in a ring. It has not been a solid victory for me since I had that world title. I want one thing, and that's a pin right in the middle. Falls don't count. It could take all night. It could take all morning. It could be 100 falls, or it could be 1 fall, but I want that 1 pin because since I was world champion, there has been men jumping in, trying to damage me. My knee's been injured, my head's been injured, and now my pride's injured. And I represent this country as world heavyweight wrestling champion, Daddy. And you're going to have to come for it because you can tear up 1 million papers. 1 million papers. But to uncover the fact, it's in the file, the original. Your name is on this one, Texas Death Match. I'm taping it up. And Assassin, if it takes me all night, or 100 falls, your shoulders are going to hit the mat. 1, 2, 3, or I will gladly put the world heavyweight title around your waist.
Dusty Rhodes is going to meet the Assassin #1 in a Texas death match for the title. For this week's Take 5, I've asked Dory Funk Jr., who is most definitely a qualified expert on Texas, to tell us about the Texas death match.
Well, Barbara, I consider myself an expert on Texas death matches because I've had a few myself. But my father, Dory Funk Sr., during his career wrestled over 200 Texas death matches, so I've probably seen more Texas death matches than any man in professional wrestling. Now, there are several things about a Texas death match. In a Texas death match, there always is a winner. Many times, as you know, wrestlers get together and they wrestle, and it's an indecisive thing. But in a Texas death match, there's always a winner, and for several reasons. First of all, in a Texas death match, there is no time limit. I've seen Texas death matches that lasted 5 minutes, and I've seen one between my father and Mike DiBiase that lasted for 3 hours and 40 minutes. In a Texas death match, there is no stopping the match because of blood. There is no disqualification in a Texas death match. Falls don't count. There can be 1 or 100 falls if necessary. And very, very important, in a Texas death match, there must and is always a winner. And in a Texas death match, the match continues until one man is unable to answer the bell. So as you can see, a Texas death match is a very, very dangerous kind of match, but it does settle an issue as to who is the better wrestler. In a Texas death match, a situation cannot occur like happened between the Assassin and Dusty Rhodes. In a match that took place in Tampa, Florida, Dusty Rhodes was wrestling the Assassin, and Dusty Rhodes intentionally got disqualified in a World Heavyweight Championship match. The reason being he was trying to save his World Heavyweight Championship rather than win the match. And there you can see Dusty Rhodes intentionally throw the Assassin over the top rope. Well, in a Texas death match, that can't happen because, as you know, in a Texas death match, there is no disqualification. There's another situation that occurred between myself and Dusty Rhodes. I was wrestling Dusty Rhodes in a match, and in this particular match, I had Dusty in very, very bad trouble, and a Florida referee, Coach John Heath, took the side of Dusty Rhodes and chose to stop the match. The reason he stopped the match is because he felt that severe injury might occur to Dusty Rhodes. Well, in a Texas death match, if you remember the rules, there is no stopping the match because of blood. Texas death matches always produce winners. It's kind of my kind of match, and I know that the Assassin and Dusty Rhodes are facing head-on in a Texas death match for the World Heavyweight Championship. It should be something to watch. And as always, Texas death match, got to be a winner, and you can bet I'll be watching.
Well, one way or the other, it's going to settle the problem between Dusty Rhodes and the Assassin #1. We may have a new World Heavyweight Champion after this death match is over. We'll have to see. That's Take 5 for this week.
Confidence to go after Sawyer, 5,000, and Sawyer. This works to his advantage because he will have less than the 10 minutes. which means Hernandez is really going to have to move on this man. And that's exactly what Hernandez is doing, too. Hernandez with a full arm drag and twist now on Buzz Sawyer. Hernandez jammed between those ring ropes, but did not relinquish his hold. Hung on like a pit bull that time, and Sawyer with a forearm. But Sawyer has got himself a handful of trouble here in Ray Hernandez. Hernandez keeping that arm drag and twist, and it is Sawyer on his knees in the ring. Hernandez will have to move swiftly, but he's got the youth, he's got the exuberance, he has the confidence. Good move on the part of Hernandez. Sawyer thought he had a takedown. Hernandez turned it to his own advantage. So as quickly as he won his $5,000 back, Sawyer might lose it back. So this young man, Hernandez doubled up that time. Sawyer drives the knee to the chest of Ray Hernandez. Hernandez brought up. Full body slam by Sawyer, but Hernandez back on his feet. Catches a forearm by Sawyer. Hernandez does not have the experience of a Buzz Sawyer. Driven back again. Another snap mare takes Hernandez to the canvas. The clock continues to move, and of course it moves in favor of Buzz Sawyer. Hernandez caught in the face that time by Sawyer. Sawyer, a flying drop kick that puts Hernandez down. Caught him. Beautiful, beautiful power slam. Well, that's the thing about Buzz Sawyer that you have to be so very, very careful of. Sawyer successful in that $5,000 challenge. He had time in his side, but he didn't need it. Didn't need the time. Took total advantage of a situation here and scored very effectively against a very, very fine young competitor, full of that youthful exuberance and all. A sobering lesson for him, perhaps, but nonetheless a valuable one indeed. Charlie Cook obviously has his sights set on two men, and two men in particular, Terry Funk and, of course, Dory Funk Jr. And an outstanding victory by Jerry Briscoe over the world junior heavyweight champion, Les Thornton. Thornton is obviously going to be forced into giving Jerry Briscoe a world title match. A lot of great things are happening. By all means, do join us again next week at the same time here on Wrestling Superstars. We hope you enjoy the program. Until then, this will be Gordon Soley saying so long from the Sunshine State. And this promises to be an outstanding match, no question about that. Referee Bill Alfonso. Just to give you a little information, we've had a lot of people asking about the ring officials. Bill Alfonso, of course, is certified. Good shoulder smash by Apollo. Jaggers caught him that time. A knee to the midsection right at the belt line. Catches him again. Alfonso in there very quickly checking to make sure there's not a chokehold. Alfonso, of course, a graduate of the Houston College of Professional Sports. He received his official wrestling certification in 1979. He is also certified in boxing and full contact karate. So Bill Alfonso, certainly an unquestioned expert in his field, and a very, very difficult position of the official in any wrestling match. Has to be, I think, the toughest officiating job in the world. Jaggers rips across the face that time, and Apollo connected with the right hand. Now Jaggers, a snapmare, has Apollo back to the canvas. Jaggers now, rear chin lock. Apollo on the canvas. Apollo is out of Havana, Cuba. Jaggers, who now makes his home in Dunlap, Kansas, is originally from the state of Washington and went to Washington State University. Referee checking those shoulders. Apollo came out of it before the count of 3, however. Jaggers uses that elbow very effectively. Apollo connects with a hard right hand, puts Jaggers down. Another hard right hand that puts Jaggers back to the canvas. A third, and now Apollo has Jaggers in a lot of trouble. Jaggers hanging on to those turnbuckles. Apollo brings him off the ropes. Arm whips him into the far side. Drop kick coming off the ropes. Jaggers down. We could have a 3 count. No, sir. Jaggers out before the 3. High backdrop by El Grande Apollo has Jaggers down. Jaggers broke it up before the pinfall. Jaggers at 6'2", will range in weight from 260 to 270 pounds. Apollo charging Jaggers. Jaggers slipped to one side. Apollo caught the turnbuckle. And Apollo powers out before the count of 3. Jaggers thought he had a absolute sure pinfall that time, but Apollo changed those ideas very quickly. Backdrop, rolling reverse. Apollo to an inside cradle. No, sir. He's into the ropes. Jaggers had a foot up in the ropes. Jaggers caught in the midsection by Apollo. Apollo, a high knee lift. Apollo has great tenacity. Uncorks a right hand, and Jaggers leaves the ring. Jaggers leaves the ring area. Apollo right after him. Jaggers catches him again outside. Apollo still after him. Rolls him back into the ring. Apollo charges into the ring. Drops Jaggers to the canvas. Again, Jaggers out before the count of 3. And again, Jaggers going out of the ring. And Jaggers just leaving the ring. He has walked away from the battle. Count was on, and Jaggers still out. And no, Jaggers is leaving again. Jaggers has flat walked away from it. He has just walked away from the match. And so one has to assume that El Grande Apollo is the victor here, as Hangman Bobby Jaggers just walked away.
From